In the headlines, Academic Staff Union of Universities extends strike. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo says he has no preferred candidate but a national agenda. Residents count losses as flood destroys property in Nasarawa and Jigawa states. Away from Nigeria, Japan to push for Africa's seat on the UN Security Council. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now the details. Reports reaching us says that the Academic Staff Union of Universities has decided to extend its ongoing strike. The decision was taken after the National Executive Council meeting at the union's headquarters at the University of Abuja on Monday morning. We will bring you details of this in our subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, former President Olusegun Obasanjo says he does not have a preferred presidential candidate for the 2023 general elections, but a national agenda. Obasanjo made this known in Minna, Niger State, after having separate closed-door meetings with former military president General Ibrahim Babangida and General Abdulsalami Abubakar at their uphill residence. He said, as an elder statesman, he has no anointed presidential candidate or a preferred political party, but an agenda for the country. Obasanjo had, at different fora, had consultations with Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and other prominent Nigerians from different political parties. The People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar on Sunday arrived Malam Aminu Kano International Airport after some days in London. Reports say that Atiku will be receiving Kano Central Senator and former Kano State Governor Malam Ibrahim Shekarau and his supporters, who are expected to defect from the New Nigeria People's Party to the PDP on Monday. Among those at the airport were former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, former Foreign Affairs Minister Aminu Wali, and others. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has said that some people have reasons for not doing the right thing and engage in corruption because of weak governmental institutions that can curb them. He said this during an interaction with a group of Harvard Business School students who visited him at the presidential villa in Abuja. The vice president said spirituality and commitment to values such as social justice and transparency were important in a situation where societal or governmental institutions were not strong enough to compel individual behavior in a way that advanced the common good. The spokesman to the Vice President Laolu Akonde, in a statement issued on Sunday, said that the students who are currently on an African excursion ask questions about leadership, faith, spirituality, government policies in education, health, economy, and national image, among others. Nasarawa State residents are counting losses as flood destroyed property worth millions of naira. Downpour caused the flood in the Dere and Tudun Adabu communities of Obi local government area of the state on Saturday. Abubakar Abdullahi, who reports that the torrential rain that lasted several hours also destroyed farm crops, foodstuffs, among others. The report is presented from our studio.
Most of the inhabitants of the Dere and Tudun Adabu communities where the flood occurred are farmers. Domestic items, crops and farmlands were destroyed by the flood. Residents of the affected communities were seen searching and evacuating the remains of properties destroyed by the flood, while some made efforts to evacuate refuse that blocked water movement in the drainage system. The residents of the two affected communities call for government intervention in order to bring succor to them.
I've been experiencing this thing, I think, for the past 2 or 3 months, to the point that I even wrote to the Ministry of Environment. I wrote to the chairman of the local government council so that the government should come to our aid. And it is like the issue is still in the increase. It's increasing day by day. And this thing that happened is a bitter experience.
Speaking on the disaster, Nasarawa State Commissioner for Environment and Natural Resources, Yakubu Kwanta, said since the inception of the present administration, measures to prevent flood have been taking the lead to the reduction of the disaster. The commissioner also advised the residents to adhere to environmental regulation to avoid falling victim of the disaster.
Meanwhile, heavy rainfall has rendered hundreds of people living in Karanaya village in Jigawa State homeless as flood washed away more than half of the houses. The Executive Secretary, Jigawa State Emergency Management Agency, Yusuf Sani Babura, who confirmed the incident, said that the entire village has been ravaged and they are working on providing shelter and food to the victims. The flood, which started around 6 p.m. Saturday evening, kept the entire village awake till Sunday evening, forcing villagers to seek refuge at the village school buildings. Karanaya is a few kilometers away from Dutse, Jigawa State capital. Now, amidst the current economic hardship triggered by inflation in the country, pensioners are among the set of people that are mostly affected. Trust TV speaks to a 66-year-old retired civil servant on the effect of the current economic realities. Ibrahim Ismail has more.
Muhammad Aliyu Korau is a 66-year-old. He retired from the local education authority in Gombe State after 35 years of service, but is yet to receive his gratuity. Korau said life has been difficult as a retiree. I suffered a lot when I reached my retirement. They stopped my salary and my pension was not coming. I struggled for 1 year, 6 months. I resorted to begging to cater for my family. There is delay in the payment of pension. The pension used to delay for 3 to 4 months, pushing me to collecting loans. One will be wondering whether to repay the loan or buy food. Korau said the plight of pensioners will affect productivity of civil servants who are still in service and not the authorities to cater for the welfare of pensioners who gave their best to public service at their prime. Non-payment of gratuity, pension and other benefits will discourage civil servants and make them to be thinking of what will happen to them. That is why others loot billions. A person will loot money that can pay millions of workers. In 2019, Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahya of Gombe State paid the sum of 1.097 billion naira to settle outstanding gratuity for retirees under the state civil service. Similarly, at the beginning of the year 2022, the Gombe State government paid 755 million naira for the payment of the second tranche of the backlog of gratuity owed to 2015 retirees in the state. The Inuwa Yahya administration said it inherited over 14 billion naira backlog of pension and gratuities for the state and local government retirees when it came to power in 2019. This, many believe, is why some retirees like Korau are yet to be paid. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) have arrested one Ohiagu Sunday, a cleaner at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, who leads a drug syndicate at the international wing of the airport. He was nabbed on Tuesday, 23rd of August, following the arrest of an intending Dubai passenger, Obinna Jacob Osita, who who was in possession of cannabis sativa weighing 4.25 kilograms concealed in cassava product, gari and crayfish. Here is more on the activities of the agency in the last week.
Investigations reveal that a Dubai-based drug dealer recruited Obina, a native of Oyi local government area, Anambra State, to traffic the drugs, and equally contracted Ohiago, a 34-year-old airport cleaner from Olu West, the local government area of Imo State, to create access for the unhindered passage of the trafficker. The drug syndicate bust, which is the first drug arrest at the new terminal of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, comes on the heels of the seizure of a consignment of bottles of Viju and Fearless energy drinks used to conceal skunk for export to Dubai through the narco export shed on Monday 15th August. A threat agent has already been arrested in connection with the seizure. In the same vein, attempts by a syndicate to export illicit drugs through the Lagos airport on Wednesday 24th August was foiled during an outward clearance of passengers on Ethiopian Airlines to Oman via Addis Ababa. Meanwhile, NDLEA operatives on Saturday raided a car shop, Bolak Motors, at Ewela bus stop, Oshodi, where bags of 615.2 kilograms of cannabis were recovered along with 9 vehicles. Efforts are ongoing to track the car dealer, Alhaji Ismail, who is currently at large. No fewer than 8 suspects were arrested and bags of illicit drugs seized from them. Meanwhile, one Adetula Olariwaju was arrested with 4 blocks of substance on Thursday, 25th August, on his way from Lagos. Sadiq Garba, returning from Gombe, was nabbed with 22 blocks of substance on Saturday, 27th August. In Kano, a drug dealer, Lawal Adamu, 31 years old, was arrested along Kano Zaria Road with 203 blocks of cannabis weighing 136 kilograms, while another suspect, Tahir Abdullahi, was nabbed on Friday, 26th August, with 3,000 ampoules of tramadol injection. In Sokoto State, the village head of Ruga Shagari local government area, Alhaji Umaru Muhammad, aka Dambala, a notorious drug dealer who was arrested on Monday, 27 August, will be facing charges soon. Chairman, Chief Executive of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired, in a statement signed by the agency's Director, Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, commended the officers and the men of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Kano, Kaduna, Yobe, Bauchi, Adamawa, Nasarawa, Edo, Delta and Lagos commands for the arrest and seizures. He charged them with their compatriots across the country not to rest on their oars until the war against illicit drugs is won.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we ask the question, are wall clocks and wristwatches going extinct? Find out more after the break. Please stay.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NORA.
Welcome back. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. A reminder of our top stories. Academic Staff Union of Universities ASUU extends strike. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo says he has no preferred candidate but a national agenda. In other news, the Director General of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Ifedayo Adetifa, said that the collaborations with stakeholders and other countries can help build resilient health systems and improve data sharing for disease detection as well as pandemic preparedness. He stated this Sunday during a learning visit by the delegates of the United States Congress to the NCDC National Reference Laboratory in Abuja. Speaking while showing the operations of the NRL to the delegates, the Director General said this is critical to the work of the organization as it continued to strengthen its capacity and share experiences to inform key global health decisions. Program Director, US CDC, Farah Hussein, said that the visit will further develop the roster of staffers working on global health policy and also highlight the importance of bilateral investments for health security strengthening and pandemic preparedness in Nigeria. The Jos Electricity Distribution Company has raised over 20 falling poles and electric wires in communities of Basa local government area of Plateau State following their destruction by a rainstorm. Trust TV had on August 24th reported how rainstorms destroyed electric cables and high-tension wires in the said communities, resulting in power outage for more than 4 months. Ado Musa has more.
The affected communities had last week lamented that the blackout has resulted in a high rate of crimes and economic difficulties in the areas. The residents of the communities, while appreciating the resumption of the work by the Jos Disco, also thanked Trust TV for an earlier report which they had said prompted the disco to resume work in the affected areas.
Jos Electricity Company erecting poles and making progress for the work of restoring power back to Basa local government headquarters. If not for them, we will still have been in darkness. I want to appreciate them sincerely and thank them for that proactive reportage that helped us in this vein as a community. We believe that we will continue in this work and soon Basa local government will be restored back to the national grid. Thank you and God bless you.
Sunday Angai, another resident in the area, is happy that they now have access to their homes after the poles and the wires have been lifted.
We are appreciating Trust TV and the Unity FM for airing our concerns. The residents of Jebu Basa, like you can see, Jet, Jos have raised the poles, except they are on now. The cables are ongoing, and down there you can see that the cables are on. So we appreciate them very well for coming to our aid in this matter. Okay, we thank God that over 20 poles have so far been fixed, and the cables are on now. So we hope that in shortest time so far, electricity will be restored, energy will be restored to the inhabitants of this place. And so we thank God. Initially, this place were all blocked by the fallen poles, but now you can see we have access to our homes.
The residents of the areas, however, hope that with the resumption of the work, power will be restored and businesses revive. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The evolution of mobile phones, otherwise known as GSM handsets in the early 21st century, has redefined the existence of life and some basic tools people use, such as wall clock, wristwatches, and yearly printed calendars. In this report, Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman examines usage of these tools regarded as essential in day-to-day life and the role of technology in sending them to their early graves, and how people cope without them. The report.
A mobile phone, cellular phone, cell phone, hand phone is a portable telephone that can make and receive calls over a radio frequency link while the user is moving within a telephone service area. However, this mobile device, first developed in 1973 by Martin Cooper of Motorola in New York, has now changed the world in many ways. For instance, prior to its evolution, wall clock and printed yearly calendars are a common feature in our homes and offices. But now the story has changed.
It is already been programmed. Just when you look at your phone, you will see dates, you will see time, you know. So this is what phone, yes, is what we are using with phone. So you can manage phone, no need to get, watch, yes.
Right now, once I want to know the exact date or the time I want to do, I go through to my phone instantly. I'm satisfied because you have to show me instantly. I will get to know the time and the date and what I wanted to do. So I've taken that burden away. I've taken that stress away from me.
This life-changing device, which also has its negative impact on the people's life, is rendering other devices and human services redundant.
It's true that many mobile phone users prefer using their devices to check time and dates instead of buying a wristwatch.
Economically, to save money, instead to now, for instance, you have to buy two things, you will go buy just for fun, because it will serve you the same thing with watch.
Before, people, when you have no occasion to have occasion, running head and scatter, trying to make a camera, buy a video camera, no matter how much you want to, but right now, you're with your phone. Your occasion is going to give you whatever you want.
While the society grapples with notable negativities of these technology, such as growing moral imbalance, cyber-related crimes, amongst others, it has equally made life easier for many. In some cases, reducing the burden of acquiring multiple domestic and electronic tools. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has disclosed that service charges for merchants using the e-Naira will be reduced by 50% to attract more transactions on the platform. The Deputy Governor of CBN Economic Policies, Kingsley Obiora, said this during the onboarding of merchants on the platform at the weekend. Obiora said that merchants should leverage the opportunities offered by e-Naira to improve cash management and make significant savings in operating costs. It stated that the platform is infused with opportunities for increasing business income, as the availability of the e-Naira payment option on the e-commerce merchant platform, such as Remita, is expected to complement the existing digital payment systems, translating to about a 50% increment in e-commerce transactions and at a lower cost. And now, away from Nigeria, Japan says it will push for an African seat at the United Nations by using its place on the World Body's Security Council. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida told the Tokyo International Conference on African Development in Tunis on Sunday that Japan is determined to redress what it described as the historical injustice against Africa of not being represented through a permanent membership on the Security Council. He said in order for the UN to work effectively for peace and stability, there is an urgent need to strengthen the UN as a whole through Security Council reform. In June, Japan was one of the 5 countries elected to hold a non-permanent seat on the UNSC for 2023 and 2024 period. The UNSC is made up of 15 members, 5 of whom are permanent and have veto-wielding power: the United States, Russia, China, France, and the United Kingdom. And that's a wrap on Trust News Update. Watch more via all our social media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.